Dele Alli. At 19 years old, he wasn't just the future of English football, he was its present. Fearless, ruthless, dazzling. He scored wonder goals, humiliated defenders, played with a swagger England hadn't seen in decades. He was called a generational talent, a once-in-a-lifetime prodigy, the boy who would conquer the world. But today, when you hear the name Dele Alli, what do you feel? Pride, sadness, bitterness, because somewhere between the cheers and the promises, something went terribly wrong. And the story behind it, the real story, is far darker than just bad form or a loss of confidence. This is a story of chaos, of hidden battles, of a young boy who grew up long before he ever put on a football shirt. Before we start, ask yourself, are you ready to see what really happened to Dele Alli? Because once you understand, you might never look at his story, or at football itself, the same way again. Chapter 1. Escaping Chaos. Before he was Dele Alli, the rising superstar, he was just Bamidele Jermaine Alli, a little boy surviving in a world that didn't care if he made it or not. Born in Milton Keynes in 1996, Dele's early years were shaped by chaos. His father left for Nigeria just a week after Dele was born. His mother, Denise, battled alcohol addiction, unstable relationships, and frequent run-ins with social services. Home wasn't a safe place. It was a battleground. At times, Dele would be left alone for days. At other times, worse things happened. He later revealed that he was subjected to unspeakable abuse, exploited, hurt, abandoned, all before he turned 10. School wasn't an escape either. Dele struggled with authority, often lashing out, getting suspended. He wasn't a bad kid. He was a scared one, learning to survive the only way he knew how. Fight or hide. Football became his only real refuge. On the pitch, he wasn't a victim. He was in control. Even as a child, Dele stood out. Tall, wiry, unafraid to take risks. He played with a mixture of raw energy and street-smart creativity, a style that felt both reckless and brilliant at the same time. At 11 years old, Dele joined the youth system at Milton Keynes Dons. The coaches saw not just talent, but hunger. The kind of hunger that doesn't come from dreaming of fame, but from needing an escape. When he was 13, Dele's life changed again. Recognizing that his home environment was destroying him, his mother agreed to let him move in with another family, the Hickfords, parents of one of Dele's close friends. The Hickfords didn't legally adopt Dele, but they gave him something far more important: stability, rules, meals, safety, love. For the first time in his life, Dele had a real home, a base to heal, a place to grow. He later said, "If I didn't move to the Hickfords, I don't know where I'd be. I don't even know if I'd still be here." Football wasn't just a passion anymore, it was a mission. Every goal, every assist, every match. It wasn't just for glory, it was survival. And in a few short years, that survival instinct would turn a broken boy into one of the most electrifying talents English football had ever seen. Chapter 2. The Rise of a Prodigy. Dele Alli's talent didn't take long to explode. At just 16 years old, he made his professional debut for Milton Keynes Dons. Tall, agile, fearless. He played like he didn't know he was supposed to be nervous. Within a season, he wasn't just starting, he was dominating. Box-to-box runs, outrageous nutmegs, goals from 30 yards. Dele wasn't playing academy football anymore. He was tearing apart grown men in League One. It didn't take long for bigger clubs to notice. Liverpool wanted him, Newcastle scouted him, but it was Tottenham Hotspur and manager Mauricio Pochettino who made the decisive move. In February 2015, Spurs signed Dele for just £5 million, a bargain that would soon look like grand larceny. He didn't just adapt to the Premier League, he ripped it apart. By the age of 20, Dele had won the PFA Young Player of the Year award. He scored 22 goals in his first 2 Premier League seasons, numbers unheard of for a midfielder that young. He embarrassed defenders, he scored backheel volleys, he celebrated with swagger and played with a smile that said, "You can't stop me." For a moment, Dele Alli wasn't just the future, he was the future arriving ahead of schedule, and England believed that they had found their next superstar. Chapter 3. The Price of Stardom. At first, the fame seemed effortless. Dele Alli was the face of a new fearless England. He had endorsement deals, magazine covers, highlight reels. He wasn't just a footballer, he was a brand. On the pitch, he was electric. Off the pitch, he was magnetic. But fame, like success, carries a silent price. Behind the celebrations and viral clips, something darker was building. Dale had never truly processed the trauma of his early life. The survival instincts that once fueled him were now walls he couldn't break down. He wasn't just playing to win anymore. He was playing to outrun the chaos that was catching up to him. As his profile grew, so did the expectations. Fans demanded miracles every week. The media dissected his every mistake. One quiet game, he was lazy. One missed chance, he was finished. The pressure was relentless, and for the first time, cracks began to show. At Spurs, he clashed with managers behind the scenes. First small criticisms, then bigger disagreements. Mauricio Pochettino, the coach who believed in him most, shielded Dele from the worst of it. But when Pochettino was sacked in 2019, Dele lost more than a manager. He lost the only mentor who understood how fragile the foundation really was. And under new managers, the cracks turned into fault lines. Tactically, Dele struggled. Mentally, he started to drift. And emotionally, he was carrying scars that no one else could see. The world still expected magic, but inside, Dele Alli was starting to break. Chapter 4: Falling Without a Safety Net. After Pochettino left, Dele Alli was adrift. Managers came and went: Mourinho, Nuno, Conte. Each tried to fix him, each failed. Mourinho famously told him in a private meeting, "Today I'm 56, yesterday I was 20. Time flies, and you'll regret it if you don't use your talent." At first, Dele smiled. He nodded. He promised to change, but promises made to others mean nothing if you can't make peace with yourself. On the pitch, he became a ghost. The sharpness faded. The explosive runs stopped. The fearless decisions were replaced by hesitations, by sideways passes. Spurs waited, fans waited, but the old Dele never came back. A move to Everton in 2022 was supposed to be a fresh start. It wasn't. He played barely a handful of games. Managers didn't trust him. Fans grew frustrated. Another move followed, a loan to Besiktas. But there too, Dele struggled. Fitness problems, criticism from his own coach, anonymous performances that barely resembled the player who once lit up the Premier League. And the saddest part? There was no great scandal. No injury that ended his career overnight. No catastrophic fall from grace. It was slower, quieter, like watching a star blink out one small piece at a time. Dele Alli wasn't defeated by one moment. He was lost over thousands of little ones, and through it all he was alone. Because no club, no manager, no system had ever really understood what Dele had been carrying all along. Chapter 5: The Hidden Battle. For years people asked, what happened to Dele Alli? Was it laziness, bad attitude, a player who got rich and stopped caring? In 2023, Dele finally answered. In a brutally honest interview, he spoke the truth. A truth that few were ready to hear. He revealed that as a young boy, he had been sexually abused, that he had been introduced to drugs at just 6 years old, that he had spent nights on strangers' couches, surrounded by fear and survival. He revealed that football wasn't just a dream for him. It was an escape, the only way out. But when the success came, when the cameras flashed and the world screamed his name, it didn't heal him. It only covered the scars that never really faded. When the adrenaline wore off, the pain remained, and slowly it swallowed the joy, the hunger, the magic. Dele admitted he battled addiction, that he sought therapy only after it was almost too late, that even at his peak he wasn't celebrating, he was surviving. The truth was never about football. The truth was about a boy who never had the chance to be a boy who carried a lifetime of pain onto a pitch and made it look like art for a while. But eventually, no amount of trophies, no amount of applause could silence what was inside. Dele Alli didn't fall because he lost his talent. He fell because, for years, he had been carrying something too heavy for any young man to bear alone. Dele Alli's story isn't about wasted talent. It's about hidden battles. It's about silent wars fought far away from stadiums and spotlight. We remember the goals, the nutmegs, the celebrations, but behind every highlight, there was a boy who just wanted to feel safe, wanted to feel free, Dele didn't disappoint football. Football disappointed him. Maybe one day he'll find peace. Maybe one day he'll play with that reckless joy again, even if it's just for himself. Because in the end, the fight that mattered most was never on the pitch.